Question: if you were faced with an impossible choice, how would you decide? Let me tell you about Abe Zamanowicz, the man who made the best, worst decision I have ever heard of. September 11th, 2001. We all know where we were. You know where you were. I know where I was. Abe Zamanowicz was on the 37th floor of one of the Twin Towers. And Abe could have left. You know, the elevators weren't working after the planes hit, but he could have walked down. Like I said, he was only on the 37th floor. But he stayed behind and tragically lost his life that day. Now, the reason he stayed is because his best friend, a man named Ed, was quadriplegic. And since the elevators weren't working, there was no way for him to leave, and so Abe stayed with him. Abe's brother begged him to leave, but he just wouldn't do it. Now, I heard Abe's sister, Rita, interviewed on the radio a few weeks after that, and she said something that I will never forget. She said that all Abe really did on that day was decide what kind of man he was going to be. He couldn't save Ed, but he wouldn't become the kind of man who would let a friend die alone. That has stuck with me, because seen through the eyes of logic, that decision to stay makes no sense. But seen through the eyes of friendship and through the eyes of love, it makes all the sense in the world. That's the power of emotions. And that's the power of making decisions, not just with your head, but also with your heart. Look, not every decision you make is going to look right on paper, but is it right in here? That's the question I think you should ask yourself. That's the question I want to ask myself. If I have an impossible choice to make, I'm going to base my decision on this, not just on this. Abe Zamanowicz, boy, taught me a lot.